Hey guys, Fox here, gonna bring you another 1 versus 1. This is against Reborn Marines playing as Panzer Elite under the name Relic Online. And down here on the left side playing as Americans is Abdul. So I'm gonna get this game started right away from the 5-second mark, starting in 3, 2, 1, play. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And of course Marines Reborn here under the name Relic Online, obvious Smurf account. He is a high level player. I've seen him beat Tomi Toma. Tomi Toma is another great Company of Heroes player. I've casted a bunch of games from him. And of course down here on the left side, I'm not sure who this is. It is Abdul. However, I checked his account. He's a level 16, so he's also a high level player. But his games are only under the American faction, and there's not that many of them. So I'm guessing this is a Smurf account or just some really good new player that I haven't heard about. However, I'm leaning towards a Smurf. This is a 2.6 matchup, and so not a beta matchup. Panzer Elite are considered a little bit underpowered, especially at this high level play. They know the ins and outs of each faction. Marines Reborn did mention he has not played Panzer Elite in a while, and this game was actually on his broadcast, I believe through an X-Fire broadcast where people can watch it live. And that allowed people to kind of tell him what to do. So let's see how this turns out. We have a Jeep now coming out through the middle here, not going to engage this Panzer Grenadier squad, and I believe he saw that. Marines Reborn may have seen that, ever actually moving his Ketten up here in the north. It was actually capping that plus 10 munitions. So Abdul has that timing down really good against Panzer Elite, knowing when that Ketten is capping. However, Reborn Marines, just going to go by Marines, does react to that wisely and moves his Ketten down here to cap for him. And what this is going to do is cut Abdul off from the entire left side of the map, as well preventing him from going in the middle. So that kind of funnels all his units towards the right. That's a longer running distance, that's less capping time, and that allows Reborn more time to set up any defenses or whatnot. So let's see if he can break through this early soft contain. There are two Panzer Grenadier squads with one of the rifle upgrades. The Jeep now coming in, waiting for that Jeep to come in there, getting as much support as he possibly can. And this looks kind of a close fight. However, he is taking that building, so that's going to turn the tide, giving them extra cover in there. And it looks like there are no reinforcements from both sides yet. The engineer squad actually breaking off to go cap up north, using this time to go and do that. Now the Jeep is actually breaking off as well, and only deciding to decap it, not fully cap it, as he probably thinks they are taking too much damage, and goes into that green cover. And Reborn actually going to adjust to that and move his units down, follow that rifleman. He could possibly go for a counter if he decides to. However, I think Marines should be able to take care of that easily, get rid of that rifle squad, and then recap his cutoff point. However, rifle squad is forced to retreat. He may have moved his rifle squad over there to try to adjust his entire army to the right side to allow this rifle squad that just popped out to recap this. However, the Ketten was there to recap it, did not manage to recap the entire thing, and all these squads are back in place. He's going to sneak a rifle squad up to the left here. There is a little path that allows him to sneak up to the left side of the map. However, he can cap all this for now, but it's not connected at the time. So perhaps he's going to try to cap as much as he can and then come back and reconnect it when he does have enough forces. Jeep doing a little more harassment. However, it is down to half health. Engineers here are going to support that Jeep. Maybe can hurry up and repair or start firing down on these Panzer Grenadier squads. Actually, great Jeep micro there. Gonna screw up the pathing of these Panzer Grenadiers, forcing them to move and whatnot, which decreases their accuracy and does not allow them to fire as much. And does a lot of damage there with using only the Jeep and Engineer squad, and forcing two Grenadier squads back to reinforce that, which allows the middle open, only leaving one squad in the church, and actually turning that into a forward operations base, which will allow him to reinforce and heal from that church, as you can see right now. Looks like Abdul is going to move out now and recap that middle. Marines trying to counter this. However, there's only one squad here because he did move those two squads down here and decides to continue capping. So it's now 2 versus 2. However, the riflemen are at an advantage. They seem to be stronger against these Panzer Elites squads. He can reinforce from that church, though. I forgot about that. That forward operating base is there, constantly healing them, so he probably can't come out on top of that and garrison the church if he really has to. So really there's only 3 rifle squads out, to 1 actually capping, and he's actually capping a good chunk of the map. It has paid off, capping that right side of the map, sneaking those squads in there earlier from the fight. And now he's reconnected it and has the entire right side of the map, as well as a good chunk of his right side here, plus 10 fuel and munitions. And let's see what direction he decides to take. If he decides to go harass his fuel point, or continue to push towards the middle and try to cut Reborn or Marines off. Reborn is actually a clan. I don't want to refer to him through his clan tag. That's just kind of weird. So I'm going to check the teching of both these players, getting a supply yard out for Abdul, and looking in Marines base. Nothing has been built yet. So going purely off of this HQ here, and actually he's now going to build a cramp group blah 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 center KAMP. So now you know what I'm talking about. Huge fight in the middle. Engineer squad gonna get popped here. They are suppressed using slow, and they get knocked out easily. And this looks like a very one-sided fight. Engineer squad not able to do any damage because they are now dead, which would have helped them a lot. And now these 2 rifle squads are left here to get torn up by these 3 Panzer Grenadier squads. It's constantly getting healed as well, and he is forced to retreat out of there. Still looks like he teched right to a mortar pool. That's what he needs to take on these squads, as he has not opted to get many rifle squads and going to pour his resources into a tier 2 build with an early M8. However, does Reborn have anything? Marines have anything to counter this? I do not know. I do not know what this builds. A camp blah 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 center, camp group center. I don't think that can build a counter. My Panzer Elite knowledge is kind of shaky. I think that it's the one that builds like the motor and the half track. So he's not building anything from it right now. It looks like Abdul has actually managed to cap his plus 10 fuel, so putting the pressure on Marines now, and his Jeep actually doing a lot of damage here. Again, needs to retreat this 1 squad, and he does. 1 squad's left here. The rifle squad's about half health here. If he can micro this Jeep to screw up the pathing, but however he is not deciding to do that. And the rifle squad may die. Needs to be careful. Should retreat that now. He could use slow on that retreating squad. However, he does not decide to. 1 guy able to get out there, and the Jeep should mop up this Panzer Grenadier squad, forcing them to retreat. And we actually have a little engagement here up near Abdul's base. That squad does retreat up north, and going back to Abdul's fight here, he just managed to cut Abdul off just temporarily. Every resource count, every second does count though, and he should easily recap that. Actually, the church is very vulnerable here, and all he needs to do is decap that now, as there are no squads anywhere in the vicinity. They're all in his base and trying to handle the Jeep on the right side, harassing his fuel, which fuel is a very costly resource there, a very valuable resource that you want to have for vehicles and teching and whatnot. And I haven't seen any vehicles from Marines yet. So, and the M8 is out, so, and he is actually getting, what is that upgrade? I can't tell. Armored skirts, so this can be extra armor there, extra health, more resistance to any Shrek fire and whatnot. He's actually, Abdul's going to go for a cutoff point. He does see this. Marines should see this now, because this fuel point does give him vision. See how he adjusts to that. Not moving his squads just yet. And we do have an AT half track out now. He does have that game sense going on. I don't see a lot of rifle squads, so he's probably going for tier 2. And now the M8 does reveal itself. So it looks like you can see his reaction here. The M8 is going to give him a little bit of trouble. I just have the AT half track that is coming down from the north, and it looks like both players are out of position to counter each. They are in position, but they're out of position. If you look here, Abdul is on the bottom map, and he's closer to his cutoff point, and he can cut off Marines pretty easily, as Marines can cut off Abdul. And it looks like he may take out this M8 here. The half track getting repaired by 4 squads here. Damaged engine. M8 not even moving. I don't believe the M8 is mobilized, is it? It could be. The half track does have an ability, and I'm assume That's what it is. I did not see it earlier, and he's definitely going to take out that M8 easily. And now we have an AT gun out to counter that half track. The half track will not do much damage towards that AT gun. However, it needs to be careful. Don't want to go too far out, as there's a lot of squads here. And looking over here on the right side, he's reclaiming the right side of the map. So, oh man, I got a cramp. Marines not kind of blobbing his squads here, not really spreading them out, not sending one to cap the left side, or deciding to cut him off here. That's what I would have done to try and cut him off. If there's any resistance, worst comes to worst, just retreat the squad, and there wouldn't be any resistance as there's only one rifle squad that is repairing. It looks like the AT gun does take out the Ketten that was trying to decap that, so that was his original plan, I guess, and I was wrong. We did get taken out. We have the engagement here, trying to stop Abdul from capping his right side. The engineer squad doing quite a bit of damage, however, there is just not enough. The engineer squad actually dying. I did not realize that there are 3 dead engineer bodies there. So he loses that. He is in green cover, trying to stay here as long as he can. The longer he stays here, the more he benefits from all these extra resources and VPs, as it is 2 VPs to 1 VP, 454 to 447. Not too much of a difference. You can see he's bringing his rifle squads back further and further and further to drag those Panzer Grenadier squads, delay them as much as possible, as his squads here in the middle are actually trying to recap that middle section of the map. And you can see this he does have the half track, which is great against squads, and that's what Reborn's Marines has been pumping out lately. However, he does have a AT half track, needs to be careful with that his own half track, and then he also has a mortar half track, so that's gonna be annoying. Here on the bottom south side, forcing 2 rifle squads finally to retreat. It looks like we got a little bit of veterancy on these Panzer Grenadier squads, going for a defensive type veterancy. You do have the option to go for defensive or assault, and he has opted to go for a defense on one of his squads here. Going back to the middle, mortar squad's actually firing on this rifle squad that is not moving. No, my mistake. Firing on the engineer squad here. One more hit could kill it. No misses, so he gets lucky there, does retreat the squad, and looks like we have airborne for our American player, calling in an AT gun up here in the north. I believe this map is going to get cut in through the middle very soon here, as both players are getting very strong armies, haven't lost too many squads. Abdul has lost 1 or 2 engineer squads, but he's still looking rather strong. The AT gun actually firing, looks like just on a squad, trying to get a lucky hit. Doesn't hurt to fire on them. However, the AT gun, he has to remember there's an AT gun on the AT gun mortar half track on the field, and that could always counter the very slow immobile AT gun, and it looks like he does react to that. Very good game sense there. He does remember as the Marines does fire this incendiary shell onto the ground that would have burnt that AT half track alive. And now moving the half track back up, so Marines does not know where that AT gun is at the moment. Getting a tried center at Fort Abdul, that's going to help heal all his squads and counter Marines healing there, as he does have it on his HQ and church, or any headquarter buildings will heal his squads. And looks like both squads not doing too much here. So the map is slowly getting split down the middle. I believe we're going to see a lot of fighting here in the middle section of the map. Both are pretty much full on health here. However, there are 2 squads in the south side not doing much. Perhaps he's afraid someone's going to come here and cap. And here we go, having a little engagement. 2 rifle squads versus 2 Panzer Grenadier squads. And that is all the infantry for him. He is supported by an AT half track, and not sure where he's going to target that, either the AT gun or the infantry. And whoa, man, we got that AT half track doing its thing. He realizes that, pulls his squads back to the green cover and in the vicinity of that healing. However, here comes a flank from the rifle squads and airborne. Going to put a lot of pressure here on Marines, as he's got to protect his half tracks here, and there's only 2 squads. He does pull those 2 squads from the southern position to come and support, and we actually have Luftwaffe out for Marines, which is pretty much airborne. That's what it means in German. And now he's doing a push here. Does have 1 Shrek squad to counter that AT half track, M3 half track. But however, it's taking a lot of fire here, and he does realize that, targeting down that 1 squad, and he may get the kill here. It is a negative cover, may get another kill here. They both manage to get away. And he has an upgrade here. I'm not sure what that gun is. How it's very anti-infantry, powerful, and tears up airborne. The Americans airborne, which are not that great against infantry at all. They're great against vehicles with the recoilless upgrades. However, the M3 half-track going there to counter that. I don't see any counters for Reborn though. I believe his AT half-track was killed, and the M3 half-track is going to do free reign. It does a lot of damage against Panzer Elite half-tracks. You can see it now tearing up that motor half-track, giving it a damaged engine. That is long gone. I do not see it being saved. One more burst of fire should take it out. Riflemen coming in from the north here to start mopping up any squads that are trying to repair that half-track. However, it's not dead yet. There it goes. Airborne does finish it off, stealing the M3 half-track's kill, and now they can go to town on these infantry squads desperately trying to hold on to this church, as he does have 2 squads in here. Do I see any reinforcements? Only 1 reinforcement coming in, so this looks like a very tight fight here. It's going to be a long fight. Oh, and the church goes down. It actually had a good chunk of its health left. I didn't think it would go down that quick, but it does go down, and he does take out those squads just in time. So quick reaction time here. That would have been devastating if he lost all those squads in there. And it looks like Abdul may come out on top here. I'm not too sure yet. He does have the M3 half-track, which I believe gives him the extra edge here. There are 2 Shrek squads, however, there's just too much anti-infantry that could handle this. He does have bars on the field, was probably out for a while. I did not realize that. And he actually decides to pull back, and does not, really no movement here in the middle of the map. No capping going on. There's just so much fighting. Neither player has been able to do that here in the middle. It is still favoring Marines at the moment. Lots of fighting there, and he does have 1 squad up here. Abdul does have 1 engineer squad up in the north, going to go for that +10 fuel, which does is close to Marines base. He does have squads in here from reinforcing, so I should be able to handle that. It's just going to be a little annoyance here. And actually an AT gun may get caught here. M3 half-track is there to protect it. However, can it do enough damage in time? These are Shrek squads, so he needs to be careful here. And one more hit, maybe 2, will kill this M3 half-track. The MG actually going to suppress that squad that was about to fire and saves that half-track, and the squads are now going to come out. So he comes out on top there, saving the AT gun, forcing 2 squads to retreat. That will not get any capping done, and does not get his manpower or his strategic point cut off. Engineer squad up here getting torn up by these Luftwaffe, and he will keep this +10 fuel, actually getting it decapped, so he's going to have to recap that, which sacrifices 1 squad from the front line to stay back and cap that, so that 1 squad could always make the difference in a very important fight. However, it looks like he's going to go up north and then come down and try to get a flank, and looks like booby traps here. Definitely want to pay attention to that, as there is an icon that pops up that says booby trap triggered. All you need to do is move your squads on the other side of the point, and you are safe and good to go. So gonna do a quick time synchronization here. I'm 18 minutes, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So let's check the teching of Marines here. Unfortunately, I don't know what these buildings build. I know I'm terrible. I memorized them earlier, but I totally forgot. What kind of caster am I? I will get to that. And looks like we're gonna have a little cute engagement here in the middle. Not doing too much, suppressing a squad here. Both players not deciding to do much, as there's just another cute engagement here down south. Rifle squad was trying to harass this point here, and Abdul's doing a great job of keeping Marines busy here on the north and south side, trying to ninja cap stuff, but he has repelled them so far. So far he's doing a decent job holding both sides and keeping the middle. And that Ketten actually rebuilding another Ketten that will give him capping power and ninja capping power to go around the north and start capping, as it doesn't sacrifice any of his squads, so he can dedicate them all here in the middle. What the? Sorry, I just realized all these teller mines. I was doing boxing, and then so there's actually a lot of teller mines. I believe that's what went off. There are no booby traps. Wrong doctrine, my bad. That's what was hitting them. So my mistake there, and looks like he does reclaim the south here, preventing any more capping. Could go for his +10 munitions if he decides to, or if